Welcome to Developing Leadership the Genuine Contact Way, where we're focusing on nourishing a culture of leadership by applying timeless principles of life to the art of leadership. In each episode, we explore one key principle. We'll share our own wisdom and insights and invite you to consider your own experiences in life and business so far, and how you want to further your own leadership development with this theme. This week, we're talking about the art of allowing. I'm Rachel Bolton, and I'm here with Birgit Williams. Possibly when you hear the guidance about the importance of allowing, you find this to be distasteful or off-putting somehow. And yet, getting into the habit of allowing is an essential ingredient in the formula for life, freedom, creativity, innovation, and success. Allowing, as it's connected and pertains to leadership, means that you allow people, things, and situations to be as they are without judging them, without trying to fix them, or wanting to change them. Allowing creates the conditions for people to choose to make different choices and is key in accomplishing change and transformation. It's the key to developing the leadership capacity for allowing is to develop a willingness to shift beyond your current tendencies towards control and manipulation. This can be one of the greatest struggles you go through, as it seems paradoxical at a deep level to allow rather than to control to get the outcomes that you envisioned.
As you listen to this, the concept that you might have a tendency to be controlling or to manipulate might also feel distasteful to you. Like, wait a minute, that's not who I am. That's not how I do my leadership, whether it's my leadership of my own life or my leadership out there into the world. And yet it is a tendency that at this time in our history, people do have. We haven't been taught sufficiently the value of allowing, that live and let live type of allowing, to allow people's creativity and innovation and opinions and getting towards solutions collectively to be that which we engage in easily. So think a little bit about in your leadership of your life and with others, could you actually relax into allowing the people around you to do what they feel inclined to do, what they offer as the best version of themselves? And could you allow this for your own self?
I think the whole, when we talk about the control piece, it's so, at this point in the world, so many people want to be able to say, well, but I'm not controlling, because we're starting to value a place of being able to allow, and how sneaky it can sneak up on you if you're not really paying attention to what control can look like. So having that opportunity to really notice, where are the places where I'm working the plan no matter what, or even something as simple as it's 9:01 and this meeting was supposed to start at 9 a.m. or whatever it might be. There's lots of places where we can practice this in gentle and small ways. We want to look at giving you some tips for how you can practice developing that leadership capacity for allowing. And the first one is to get comfortable with the idea of allowing. What does it mean to allow things to be as they are without judgment? So we're going to recommend to you that you take some time for some personal reflections on the topic of allowing. What do you need to do to be comfortable with this idea? We're also going to look at and offer you the 4 principles of the meeting method open space technology. These principles are a really great way of practicing the art of allowing. So we'll be looking at those in just a minute. And then as you're developing this awareness, as you're starting to practice putting these principles into practice, to find ways daily to be working with them. How do you keep them in your awareness? How do you, sort of check yourself throughout the day of how you're doing with honoring those principles? And then finally, our last tip is to keep your focus on allowing, doing it at home, at work, and most importantly, perhaps within yourself as well. How are you allowing yourself to simply just be as you are?
This is also related to the fact that we advocate for developing your leadership the genuine contact way. That requires being in genuine contact with yourself and allowing yourself to be in that genuine contact, accepting yourself to be the best version of yourself, and the same in your genuine contact with another, with others. In order to be in that genuine contact, to show up with authentic self, allowing is required. And I think of a story that was quite funny in my own life when I was dating Ward, who I then married. He, one of his first sentences to me was, "I'm a very allowing guy." And I was a pretty independent woman and still am. But to hear a man say to me, "I'm pretty allowing," I immediately took offense at that and had quite a big reaction to that. As in, no one allows me. I'm leading my own life, etc. And then he went on to explain what allowing meant. And it meant within a relationship for him to create the conditions that he could create to let me show up being fully me to the extent that I could do so, that it was a message of freedom, of allowing for my creativity and allowing for my growth wherever it took me. And I also then could say to him, "Well, I'm a pretty allowing person also."
It's such a great story, and it makes me think about the next piece of it too, which I know is one of my personal struggles with this whole art of allowing, which is the balance of uh, uh, really practicing the art of allowing and still acknowledging that there are boundaries within which that acknowledging can happen, so that what you're like, that distinction between I'm allowing everything and anything even if I don't like it, to I'm working on this practice of allowing myself and others to show up and be fully present in who we are while still making choices. And I think we get to make better choices when we sit starting in that place of non-judgment, of this is what is, this is who is here, and here's where I want it to go, or here from this place of allowing is what I want to happen next, either because this is working for me or because it isn't.
And that does take us right into sharing with you the 4 principles of that meeting method, open space technology, which are fantastic principles to practice, to develop the art of allowing.
And those principles, so that you've got them, are whoever comes are the right people, whenever it starts is the right time, whatever happens is the only thing that could have. And when it's over, which of course means that when it's not over, it's not over.
And this relates, Rachel, to that little example you gave about something as little as if a meeting is scheduled to start at 9 o'clock and you're looking at the watch at 5 after 9, it hasn't started. Instead of getting uptight about it, it's allowing for it starting whenever is the right time, when the energy is right for that start. And also noticing whoever comes, if you're having a team meeting, it's just the right people. You don't worry about who's there, who's not there. You simply say, okay, we'll proceed. Whoever comes are the right people. And that whatever happens is the only thing that could have happened, assumes that each person is bringing the best version of themselves and what they have to offer.
That idea of bringing whatever it is that you have is the best that you have to offer, I think also is an invitation inside of allowing of your own personal responsibility. Have I done, if I'm sitting in that meeting, have I done all the things that I feel are important so that when I look back at whatever happened, I feel satisfied with what happened is the only thing that could have. So there's lots of layers and nuances inside of this. And it all boils down to that idea of being open to outcome, not attached to outcome, which of course comes from those 4 immutable laws of spirit. And the idea of really just working with allowing, so that although you might have a vision of an outcome, you feel free to move forward into whatever those outcomes might be, which sometimes turn out even better than we might have ever imagined.
That is a result from allowing, is ending up with results that have every opportunity to be even better than what we've imagined. And it doesn't happen if we're not doing the allowing.
So, in order to do the allowing, we're recommending to you that you practice allowing. We've given you some tips for how you can do that for yourself personally, also looking at it in your organization. We're going to suggest that in practicing allowing, that you hold meetings sitting in the configuration of a circle. And you might have heard us say this in others of our video series. You'll probably hear us say it again, because sitting in that circle is powerful for so many reasons. When you hold meetings in a circle, to also pay attention to intentionally giving each person who is present the opportunity to speak and to be heard, all the while training yourself in allowing, including following those 4 principles.
It is a wonderful practice. It's a practice that I have done for decades, and my capacity for allowing has grown more and more and more. And I appreciate it because I appreciate the results that have happened in all aspects of my life.
So we're coming now close to the end of our conversation today. Birgit, is there anything else that you feel like is important to share or that you're thinking about around the art of allowing?
What I'm thinking about is how simple this particular leadership capacity sounds, and how easy it would be as you're listening to this to dismiss this as too soft, something that's not as worthy to pay attention to as some of the other leadership capacities that you want to build. And I simply suggest this might be one of the most important ones.
As I'm listening to you, I'm also thinking about how, in addition to being the most important, when you really start paying attention to the art of allowing, you also start to realize how challenging it can be in lots of moments. And so life definitely gives you lots of opportunity to be practicing this, especially when you start from noticing those places where you might be attempting to have a little bit more control rather than that allowing. So I'm sure it's something that once you dive into it, you'll really discover what a diligent and lifelong practice it is.
I'd like to say one more thing at this point. Sometimes, as you're practicing allowing, it appears that the people around you are not performing in the way that you would hope. And you're, as in terms of being a leader, you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be a disaster. I'm going to take control again. And instead, here's my guidance to you, which is it could appear that way. And yet, if you keep the allowing, you will discover that it sorts itself out. And so I did want to say, sometimes in practicing this, you might have that appearance of something that looks like a trouble ahead. and don't conclude that it is so.
We might call that one the practice of allowing 2.0, getting really
Yes.
comfortable with it, even when it looks like things might go wrong. That does bring us to the end of our conversation for today. Thank you for joining us. We invite you to check out the next episode to continue your learning. Before you go, be sure to hit that subscribe button. All our subscribers get our new episodes 2 days before they go public.